Wise here. I am standing inside of 4766 East 90th in Garfield Heights. This property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom bungalow. This property is already in the Holton Wise rental portfolio. I'm actually coming to you in the middle, or end rather, of a tenant turnover. The existing owner is deciding to sell this property, so it is now available to you for $64,900. My staff has been managing this property for years. We are the ones who did this turnover. We are almost finished with it. We just need to do a final clean, which is going to happen later this week. As you can see, we have a nice spacious kitchen here. We'll walk over here. We have bathroom right there. Followed up by 2 bedrooms right here. Spacious living room right here. Again, as I said, my staff is just getting finished with the turnover, so we still have a little bit of building debris. At this point, this property is what we'd like to call 90% completed. My leasing staff is now already speaking with tenants. This property could potentially be sold to you already occupied by a tenant. We are going to begin advertising this property for $9.99 a month. If this is something you'd like, but you're nervous to buy a rental property that doesn't yet have a tenant, submitting an offer contingent on us placing a tenant or at least collecting a deposit and signing a lease with a tenant prior to close is absolutely something that we can do. That is going to be no problem. We've rented this property in the past for many years. We're not going to have any issues getting a tenant. This is a solid B-class investment. You know, what you're aiming to rent with a house like this, you know, your target tenant base is not as transient as a multifamily tenant. So you're going to get a tenant that's typically going to stay a little bit longer. You know, there's going to be less wear and tear on the property. You know, this was a very, very minor turnover. This is not a property that's in the ghetto and they're completely destroying the house. You know, this is just a nice, solid investment property at under $65,000, about $1,000 a month in rent. You really can't go wrong. There's going to be no POS violations. Like I said, we can deliver this to you 100% turnkey. If you want a tenant in there before we close, that is something we can do. Clear POS, not a problem. While we're here that I'd really like to highlight for you guys. Number one, all the windows are vinyl windows. As you know, the housing stock in the greater Cleveland area is very, very old. So the older windows, that can pose a potential lead-based paint risk. People are constantly opening and closing them. That causes rubbing. That's where you get into lead-based paint problems. This particular house, that has been solved. The windows have been totally replaced. They're all vinyl. So that is something you don't need to worry about. The next thing I want to highlight for you is when we were in the kitchen earlier, you may have noticed that there's no appliances. That is a huge advantage that single-family investing has over multifamily investing. When you invest in single-family properties, you do not need to supply the appliances. The tenants are going to bring their own fridge, their own stove. That is not something you're going to need to pay for. And lastly, as this has already been a property that has been ran by Holton Wise, it's already been hardened to our rental standards. We already place things in this property that are meant to withstand constant tenant use. The floors are all hardwoods. there is no carpet anywhere in this home. So if we have a tenant who has a dog who pees on the floor or something like that, it's not going to translate to a huge cost for you at turnover. We take these floors, we coat them with a nice sealer so it doesn't seep in. The idea is that at every single turnover, your costs are lower and lower, because as you guys know, turnover is the #1 killer of rental profit returns. Before we finish out on this video, I want to take you guys down to the basement. As I know, most of you are investing from out of state and you don't have the opportunity to actually view these properties yourself. We strive to be the most transparent company as possible. We want you to be able to see everything. A picture says 1,000 words. Well, how many words does a video say? Let's take a look. Alright guys, so we're down here in the basement. I know there are some companies that do not like to show you guys the basements because they're not necessarily the prettiest parts of the house. I don't agree with that. You need to know exactly what you're buying. You're buying an asset for $65,000 or less. It is not supposed to be, you know, this amazing, immaculate thing. But what it is a solid earner with good bones, and the mechanicals are something that are not often talked about. They're not the most extravagant or fun things to discuss, but this is where returns are made and lost. These are the bones of the property. These are the things in the property that cost the most money. Repainting a room is nothing, but the mechanicals, that's where all your cost is going to be. And this house does not let you down. If you take a look, electrical panel has been completely upgraded. You have no electrical issues to worry about. We have 100 amp service coming in, brand new updated electrical breakers. Over here, our hot water tank is a newer hot water tank. Hot water tanks are going to run you around $1,000 to get replaced. Not something you need to worry about with this property. And then over here, we have a furnace. As you can tell, this furnace is newer. This is not an old furnace. Furnaces are going to run you about $3,500. Not something you need to worry about with this property. This property has been hardened by Holton Wise. It's been in the Holton Wise portfolio. The owner before you has already paid for the things that are really going to deliver long-term results. And while we're down here, I want to show you one other thing. This is a cool little bonus. Most of these bungalows usually don't have any finished space in the basement, but this one does. We have this nice big room. This is just another thing that is going to add to the quality of this investment. Is this room necessarily going to translate to a much larger rent? Probably not. If this room was unfinished, we would still be renting it for pretty close to what we're renting it for, which is $1,000 a month. But what a room like this is going to do, it's going to position this property ahead of other properties similar to it. What that means is tenants are going to have a nicer benefit to this property. So if they can rent this property for about the same price as other properties, they're less likely to move out of this property. You're going to get a tenant who's going to stay longer because we are slightly better than our competition. And that's what you want, guys. It's not necessarily about getting an extra $5 or $10 or $15 a month. It's about reducing turnover. Turnover is a return killer. Before you guys go ahead and make offers on this property, I need you to do me a favor, show me some love, hit the like button on the video, and if you have friends or family that like to grow their net worth with real estate investing, please go ahead and tag them. Tag 3 people who are going to want to build net worth through real estate investing. Also, if you know somebody who has rental property already and maybe they're looking to move on to another business, go ahead and have them reach out to Holton Wise as well. I am the #1 seller of rental property in the greater Cleveland area. If you would like me to sell your property on a video just like this, go ahead and reach out. My info is going to be below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at JamesWiseHWPG. Holton Wise, real estate investing made easy.